It's an honor.
Is
right?
it the first of the year? I think it is.
It might be.
Yeah,
it might be.
We were saying before the taping that last time I did this 2 years ago, I was 4 for 4.
Okay. So well, there you go. Okay.
So you're a good person to start this launch.
Now ready to go 5 for 5. All right. We were together in Washington, as a matter of fact. You just got to see your first State of the Union as a member of Congress. For more than 100 years, the address wasn't really an address. It was more of a written report. So which president actually began the practice of delivering the State of the Union in person in a speech before Congress? There are multiple choices on the screen. Was it Theodore Roosevelt? Was it Woodrow Wilson? Or was it Franklin Roosevelt?
Who made it a speech in person?
Who actually did a speech in person? Was it Roosevelt, Wilson, or Roosevelt?
I'm going to go with A, Teddy Roosevelt.
It was Woodrow Wilson in December of 1913. For events like the State of the Union, a member of the President's cabinet is named the designated survivor and stays away from the events at Capitol Hill. So who was the designated survivor for this year's State of the Union? Was it Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation? Was it Marty Walsh, the Secretary of Labor? Or was it Gina Raimondo, the Commerce Secretary?
C, Secretary Raimondo.
It was Secretary Raimondo. Let's do a district question. Fall River is the only city in America to have what? And I'm looking for a specific thing. What located over an interstate highway? Is it a city hall? Is it police headquarters? Or is it fire headquarters?
City Hall.
It is City Hall. It was built directly over Route 195. So there you are. So you're a Harvard grad. 8 U.S. presidents have ties to Harvard. One of these names on the screen here is not among them. Being a Harvard grad, which one is it? Is it Hayes? Is it John Quincy Adams? Or is it Herbert Hoover?
C. Hoover.
C. Hoover. He was a member, by the way, of the inaugural class at Stanford University in 1891. That's very good. 3 out of 4 is very good. Very good.
You'll have to come back and redeem your...
Exactly. Get that final one.
Okay, political divisions not only between Republicans and Democrats, but also within your own party are sharpening. A clear visual of that was the State of the Union. 3 Democrats gave their own response to the President's State of the Union. Biden was supposed to be the moderate, uniting this entire country, uniting everybody. Is he making any progress, or was Monday sort of a sign of things that are not getting any better?
This president and our Congress, when we were sworn in a year ago, inherited the worst crisis in our democracy since the Civil War, the worst public health crisis since World War I, and the most complicated economic situation since World War II. 12 months in, he and we have not solved all those problems. We've got significant challenges ahead. What we have done is reopen the economy, schools, and put COVID behind us with the American Rescue Plan. We have made significant investments in infrastructure that eluded the 2 previous presidents with the bipartisan infrastructure law. And with the America Competes Act, which just passed the House, we have laid the groundwork for American leadership in science, technology, and manufacturing for the next century. Significant progress. This president has told the truth. This president has been compassionate and empathetic with the American people, and this president has reached across the aisle. We cannot, however, be answerable to the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert, who shout him down when he's trying to speak to the nation.
You know what? And you have a perfect mind, because we actually have that. Your colleague from Colorado, Lauren Boebert, heckled the president when he was talking about soldiers dying from cancer during the State of the Union. Now, here's what it sounded like in the moment in the hall. Take a look.
A cancer that would put them in a flag-draped coffin. I know.
13.
One of those soldiers was my son, Major Beau Biden.
She said 13 of them is what it was what she shouted out at that time. As a veteran, and not just a congressman, as a veteran, what is your immediate reaction to that?
It's despicable. And it also underscores that increasingly in Congress there are those who are performers and there are those who are policymakers. And the performers eat up a disproportionate amount of the cable news and the ink that is spilled on Congress, whereas the policymakers are just trying to get stuff done for the American people. And we have just got to increasingly push these performers to the sidelines and deprive them of the oxygen, of the attention on which they thrive.
But do you get a sense that any of your Republican colleagues that have been afraid to speak out against the demonstrators, as you call them, are beginning to pull away and have their own say, or move more towards the middle, especially in reaching compromise with Democrats on key issues?
We have been able to get bipartisan legislation passed. Again, the Infrastructure Act is the most notable and the most important. But to your kind of political question of Is the Republican Party trying to excise this tumor of MAGA from it? No, they're not. And the most notable example, of course, is Kevin McCarthy. So he's the California Republican congressman who would be Speaker of the House probably if Republicans took the House back in 2022. And he went from after January 6th calling it an insurrection and saying there had to be accountability to visiting Mar-a-Lago every 2 weeks and defending Marjorie Taylor Greene. And he's doing it because he's scared, and it's just unacceptable.
Congressman, thank you for coming in. It's great to see you.
Thanks for having me on.
Congressman Jake Auchincloss has been our guest this morning. We continue on the record. The Sunday Roundtable is next. Maura Healey joining an investigation into TikTok. Good politics? Which is the question. We'll talk about that and more. Stay with us.
So many young children brought by their family.